Hello and welcome to Retera Makes a mod. Today I'm going to give an example of making a Warcraft mod. As you might expect, making a mod begins in the world editor. So as you can see, my video got a little long in production, but the general idea here is that I've imported some models and started making some units. Essentially, what I did is I made a purple Doomguard and I changed wardens so that they were wielding lightsabers. To go along with that, I built some triggers. First trigger, when a player pushes escape, players 1 to 6, creates a Doomguard at their start location. Second trigger I created was that whenever a warden attacks a unit, that unit dies. This was, of course, because lightsabers are awesome. I decided pretty quickly that I wanted to add a sound. So I went and tried to find a sound that would match a lightsaber. I ended up using Defend, I believe, and customizing some of the properties, changing the pitch. I think changed the pitch. Yeah. I also, of course, added a trigger action to the lightsaber trigger that I had that would make fitting playing of the sound when characters were attacked by a warden with a lightsaber. So the big question is, how do I get this into a mod? I used the export script feature on the world editor, saved it to a folder on my computer somewhere here. I've got this folder open. I called it new mod 1 in this case, and I also got a copy of Blizzard J sitting in that folder. So I got the two of them there, and I saved it. Then I opened up a notepad. Now I really hope the video quality comes out well enough so you can see this. But I started out here. My map was very simple. It had 3 triggers and a sound. So I copied all 4 of those global variables. You can see my mouse is waving around there, looking at those global variables. So I just highlighted them all, copied them, and then I went to my Blizzard J, and I ran a search on end globals. It's really annoying to navigate Blizzard J, so I just use searches, go where I want. And that's why I put my 4 variables right here before end globals. You should probably see me hit paste. Oh yeah, so you can leave a note for yourself. // is not interpreted by the computer. It's a comment, so you can leave it there and note, these are my variables or something like that. Let's see. So here I'm going and finding the scripts where it says triggers. One of the things I left behind was the melee initialization trigger. If you brought it in, you'll have a script error because melee initialization already exists in most melee maps. Because you have to initialize the melee map. So it'll be defined twice, and it doesn't work. It causes a problem. Now, in just a second here, I'm going to cut to myself talking as I was working here and review what I just did so you can sort of see what I was thinking. Excuse me. So one of the things you hear, you don't want melee initialization. You don't want melee initialization. It's already a part of melee maps. So you just want to get, your custom triggers. You just select all of them. You might have 100 here, and your sounds. Like GG sound, lightsaber sound. You can just come in here. Maybe run a search on like end globals. And there's the end of the globals in Blizzard J, and you can put in a little double slash as a comment so it doesn't affect the code. So I can do like double slash retras magic variables. You can do something so you know what it is. If you ever come back. All right, so I got my variables. This creates a storage space for my code. Now what else do we have here? We got these triggers. Triggers, cool. Big section says triggers. We're gonna skip melee initialization because we don't want it. It's annoying. So trigger, custom trigger 1, trigger, lightsaber, and init custom triggers. Sounds good. So I'm gonna just take all these trigger codes and init custom triggers. That'll init them for me. I'm gonna put that in Blizzard J. But I'm gonna find that init Blizzard function. So I'm gonna run a search in Blizzard J. Nobody wants to scroll around. Init Blizzard. We have init Blizzard globals, but I'm just gonna do init Blizzard. So this is my init Blizzard function here. I'm going to take out references to melee initialization, so we're not going to initialize melee initialization. Don't want to do that. Cool. So that should be good. I'm going to come in here and say after we initialize all these things, call init custom. Oh, actually, init custom triggers is a name that's probably going to be used by the Melee map, because all maps are kind of the same like that. So I'm going to call this function, let's just change the name, make it different. If you have two things with the same name, that becomes a problem. So you want to kind of make a custom name. This is init retera. That's what I'm calling it. I'm going to init retera because, you know, I'm being retera. Alright, so init retera here. Looking pretty good. One of the other thing that you want is it's going to be like init globals or something. What is this thing called? Init global. Yeah, init globals, which is a function that doesn't appear to do anything. Oh, init sounds. So here, this init sounds function. You want init sound. You want to init your sounds, but you want to change the name so it doesn't have to. It doesn't have a chance of conflicting. So like, init retro sounds, which actually I could put this above init retro, and then as a part of init retro, you just type in call and then just copy paste the name of whatever this thing you just took is for the sounds, and put the empty parentheses. That means that just means nothing special basically on your function. So you got init sounds or knitting. So you got your sounds, you got your triggers in it, and you got the code in here for them. And GG lightsaber sound is in here. So this defines as the defend sound. That looks good, probably. So here's our Blizzard J, and now let's put it in a map, or in a mod, excuse me. So I want my custom data out of this map, you know. So your unit data, you want to do an export on the unit data. It makes it more movable. It'll make it work better. So just for good luck, I'd say do an export on to get your unit data. Don't extract it some other way. So a new mod. I'm gonna make a folder called archive. This is gonna be what's gonna turn into my MPQ. I'm gonna make War3 map. War3 map is a name that means it's the one right out of the map. So by putting that unit data, I have customized the unit data for this mod, or it'll overwrite unit data slot. Even though Melee maps don't have one of these, the game will still read it as though it's coming out of the map, even though it's coming out of the mod. We got our customized Blizzard J here, so I'm going to put that into my archive too. So that looks pretty good. But, you know, my custom models aren't here, right? I got those custom models. So let's say I've got a bunch of custom data I want to extract with custom models. Well, to do that, as just a bit of a side note here, when I just dumped Blizzard J in my folder called archive, I didn't put it in another folder called scripts, which is a mistake on my part, and I didn't catch that while I was making the video. Now, the final mod actually worked despite me never fixing that, so if you want to be really lazy, I guess you don't have to put Blizzard J in a scripts folder apparently, but I sort of consider it to be more likely not to go wrong. If you put it back in the same place that it came from, it must be some feature of the game or something that'll load the file also out of just being dumped right inside the MPQ. The next step in the video was collecting the art files. Just go somewhere on your computer that you have the MPQ editor. So I'm booting up my MPQ editor here. I'm using Lattice MPQ editor. I'm gonna go in my new mod 1 folder where I'm on my map. This is my map. I open this map like it's an MPQ. Complains because it's open in the editor. So you're only allowed to open it in one program at a time. So you close it in the editor. And now I'm opening the map again once the editor shows a blank screen for me back there. Alright, so here's my my stuff coming out of this. And a lot of this War3 map stuff, you don't want this stuff. So you just want to do your Doom Guards and anything, all your custom model directories are in here. It's like War3 map imported, you know, it has most of those models I took in a skin sitting here. And you just make this export to wherever your folder is. So like mine is in mod development / new mod 1 / archive. Right, and that's where I put all my stuff. So I'm just going to tell it export to that. Now if I go back to this archive folder, you can see purple Doom Guards appeared, War3 imported has appeared. So it should be pretty good to make a mod. So let's try making it. Let's try making nm1mod.mpq as an MPQ file. We're going to build it out of that